Hello, everyone. You are welcome to today's lesson. And in today's lesson, we have a simple task. We are going to look at the solution to the assignment that was given in the last lesson on functions. Okay, so the assignments, let me quickly go back and let's look at this. I think it's even here, so we can infer from what we have here. So this was the assignment, or these were the questions. Okay, so you have question 1, question 2. Okay, so remember I said anytime you read questions, make it a habit to underline the salient part, if any. But reading through this, okay, we don't have any salient part to underline. So after that, what do? You go and write solution. If the questions are normal, then it means we equally want you to normal your solution. So here, the major question number is question 1. That's what you write. After that, what do? Giving, then you extract what you are giving. Please take notes. Okay, remember, these two functions came in the mapping form. And I've told you that the mapping form of representing functions are best seen in questions. Okay, so when you are extracting, you don't extract in the mapping form. It is convenient for you to extract in the relation form. So please take note. Okay, so these two functions, f and h, extracted in their corresponding relation forms. Okay, now what are we supposed to do? Okay, with these functions, we are supposed to use the functions to find this. So you write that one, okay, as well. And take note, you cannot write equal to. Yeah. Okay, it is what you are asked to find that you write, not equal to. It is not a step. Now, this is where your steps comes in, or your step, okay, comes in. So your first step, this is what we have. Okay, we need to multiply this, but remember, we need to know the function f of x, h of x before we can multiply, and we know them, so we go and carry out substitution. So the first step, no one should get it wrong. Okay, you know, it's just substitution. So copy and paste, copy and paste. So at this point, what do you do? Okay, we said, like I told you, how many factors can you see here? You can see 4 factors. Minus 4, x squared plus 3x. Okay, 3, then x squared plus 4x plus 3. Okay, for these 4 factors, 2 of them are monomial factors. That's minus 4 and 3. One is a binomial factor, and okay, the last one is a trinomial factor. And I advise you, anytime you have more than 2 factors and you are going to multiply the factors with the least number of terms. So looking at this carefully, you can see that, okay, the 2 monomial factors are the one that we are supposed to work on. So you multiply the -4 and the 3, which gives you -12. You keep your other factors, okay, intact. Then after that, now, after multiplying the -4 and the 3, okay, if you look at what you have here, we are now confronted with 3 factors, -12, this factor, and this factor. Okay, -12 is a monomial factor. This is a binomial factor, a trinomial factor. So if you go by the same advice, it means multiplying, we'll multiply this monomial and binomial because this will be the factors with the least number of terms. So multiplying this will give us, okay, -12x squared. Okay, and this will give us -36x. And you have to put this in brackets. Okay, now I'm coming to multiply this. Okay, so at this point, you know, you distribute again. Take the first term of the first factor, then multiply that by all the terms in the second factor. Then come and take the second term of the first factor and do same. So if you do that, you end up getting all that we have here. Exactly what we have here. You know how to multiply. Your calculators can also help. Okay, so at this point where you come and will draw your conclusion. And remember, when you are drawing your conclusion after expansion, I told you that don't come and combine like terms, rearrange, then you draw your conclusion. Your conclusion can cater for that. So in your conclusion, you do that. So here, the advice, usually I told you, we write expressions in decreasing powers of x. Okay, unless otherwise stated. So the highest power of x here is x to the power 4. But it is negative. And remember the advice. Usually in algebraic expression, you avoid starting with a negative term, if possible. So here, if you look at that, so let's see. So we need to shelve this and see whether the next term, which is the s cubed term, okay, will give you a positive result. If you combine this is negative, this s cubed term also is negative. They are alike. Negative and negative, you add, you get a negative. So it means the S cubed term will equally be negative. So that also must be shelved. You can't start with that one. You come and do same for the S squared. And you can see that negative, negative, you combine, your result will also be negative. So S squared negative. Then your S term equally will be negative. So at this point, you don't have even a positive term to start with. So you have no choice to start with than to start with a negative. So you start with a negative and you arrange your terms in decreasing powers of x. So only one term in s to the power 4. Okay, you write it. The s cube here term and the s cube term, you combine, that will give you 84 minus 84 s cube. Okay, then the s squared term, the minus 36 s squared, then minus 144 s squared will combine and give you minus 180 s squared, then minus, okay, this is the only term in x, you write it, and you've concluded. So this is supposed to be your results. Okay, now let's look at the alternative approach, and that is what you did. Is in actual fact, by doing so, you will get the answer all right. And if you compare, you see that this will be ideal anyway. Okay, so you write exactly what you are asked to find. By then, I'm assuming you've extracted your functions. Take note. Then this will be equal to, you come and carry out your substitution. At this point, you know, you don't hit the advice. You just multiply this constant by the factor here. So that gives us what you have here. Come and multiply this constant factor by, okay, what you have here too. That gives us this. But make sure you put each of them in brackets. This multiplying will still make this a factor. You put it in bracket. This multiplying will still make this a factor. You put it in bracket, then you come and distribute what you have there. And this will end up giving you what you have here. And whatever I said here, for you to conclude, is exactly what you apply, okay, at this point to have this conclusion drawn. Okay, so that will be it. And looking at the two, you can see that this will be the ideal method, because this one, you can see that we wrote less. Okay, and once you write less, you save time and what and space. So that will make this method an ideal method. Okay, so now let's move on to our second question. Okay, so the second question too, we're given these three functions. Okay, and we're out of the function, we are asked to find, okay, the expression that we have here. So giving, again, you write solution, the question number, you extract the function. It came in the mapping form, but remember to extract it in their corresponding relation form. That's what I have done. Then whatever you were asked to find must follow. And you don't leave any spaces between your steps. Take notes. Okay, so your first step equal to that one, you carry out the substitutions for each of the functions. Okay, and now you come and multiply. So it will be this multiplying this, which gives us this. Okay, and when this one is multiplying, you are removing the bracket here, because the operation that comes after is not multiplication. Okay, so you are removing the bracket. This one too will multiply all the terms here, the negative 2, and give you exactly what you have here. Then the 3 will multiply this and give us this. After that, you combine like terms and rearrange. So usually the highest power of x here is, okay, s squared, that's the 2. So let's deal with the s squared term and see if it's positive, then we can start with it. Otherwise, we have to shelve it and go and look for any positive term if it so exists. Okay, so now what do we have? 6s squared, okay, minus 2s squared will give us 4s squared. So it's positive, you start with it. So now, okay, you go to the s term, which is the linear term. This 8x and the minus 8s here will go. So you'll be left with the minus 3x. Okay, and the only, so constant term minus 12 plus 8 will give us what? Minus 4 as well. So this then becomes your final answer. Okay, and you can see that when I was combining like terms and rearranging, that's the point that I had my conclusion drawn. If you don't do so, you repeat writing this. So you write this, then later come and draw your conclusion. So like I always say, think before you write. Okay, so thank you very much. God bless us all.